My name is Themba Sikhosana. I come from Gauteng in Davidson. I grew up in Davidson. I basically did my school in Davidson, Mabuya Secondary School, and I finished my school. And I was brought up by my grandmother and my grandfather. And I was brought up with my two cousins, Nkulego and Nomusa. I grew up in a home where my grandma was what do you call this? Sangoma Inyanga, the traditional healer. But she left those ways when she was bringing us up. And after that, she joined the church, an apostolic church. So I was going to church with her, but I left the church. I didn't want to go to church somehow. So between my school years, I just left church. I didn't want to go to church anymore up until I finished school. So that's when my grandmother passed on and my granddad passed on. I was not doing drugs at that time. I was not doing any alcohol at the time, no smoking. And after that, after my grandmother and my grandfather passed on, my cousins just started disowning me. When they started disowning me, they threw me out in the street and I started living in the street. That's when I met a friend that took me in. And after my friend took me in, I started living with my friend. So my friend had parents, and then that's when I started living with my friend's parents, and they were Christian. Then they took me in and they introduced me to Christianity, but I was still feeling left out because my cousins disowned me, and I grew up with my cousins. That's when I started doing drugs. I started doing drugs and I joined gangs, and then I started tattooing myself and I slept out, and I didn't want to go to my friend's place anymore. But my friend just kept on coming to me, but I didn't want him near me anymore because I had a group in which I was going with. And then somehow the group just in a way betrayed me. That's how I felt. I felt betrayed by the group because the group was starting to do things against me. For instance, we started getting into fights. They started beating me up for no reason. Sometimes they'll tell other groups to come for me. I started running at night. And sometimes they'll tell police to come for me. And if they did something, they'll tell the police that it's me, and the police will come after me. And then I went back to my friend's house and I apologized to the family, but I was still smoking drugs then. So I continued smoking drugs and started staying on the low. I started sitting down with my friends. They got me a room outside, and I stayed outside in the room, but I was still smoking drugs. That's when my friend just introduced me. Spoke to his dad, and told his dad that he wants me to go to a rehab, and I agreed to go to a rehab. That's when I was introduced to School of Fire. They told me that if I want to go to School of Fire, I just need to talk to them, and I spoke to them. I thought this was a rehab. I thought I was coming here for rehabilitation. So they said they're going to send me here. I'm going to get rehabilitated for the next 3 months. And after 3 months, I'll be able to go back. And I came here. That's when they brought me here. His father paid for me. And then they paid for me. They bought me a ticket and gave me everything. And I came here. When I came here, I didn't think I'd be this person I am today. I didn't think I'd meet Jesus when I came here. I didn't think I'd meet the Lord when I came here. I was really coming to get rehabilitated, to get me off drugs. But when I came here, firstly I met a whole bunch of white people. I thought maybe they're trying to eat me or something because there's no black person here. So I stayed here for the first month. The second month, didn't really understand what is going on, the programs and everything. But spiritually, they're really trying to get through me, trying to grow me spiritually. I understood the concept of God and Jesus, but I didn't go into detail with it because I was still stuck on my old past mind, the street mind. Then I just need to get rehabilitated and get out there and get a job type of mind. But when I got here, I understood that God is life. There is a job working for God. You can actually get paid working for God. You can actually get life working for God. That's when I started taking the whole spiritual concept even further. So taking it even further, I called my dad, my stepdad. I call him my stepdad. So I called my stepdad. I told him I just want to stay for more months here. And now I'm on my 5th month. This month is my 5th month. So I'm going for my 5th month this month. And I'm still growing spiritually. And I've grown to a point where I don't think I'll go back to drugs anymore.
The Miracle Place. Wat is The Miracle Place? Jy kan op Facebook gaan kyk en follow The Miracle Place. Miracle Place kan jy na toe kom vir die volgende redes. As jy drug addict is, as jy 'n issue het aan selfoon verslaaf is, jy's aan suiker verslaaf, whatever jy aan verslaaf is, jy kan kom inboek vir 'n maand, jy kan inboek vir 'n jaar, jy kan inboek vir 6 jaar. Maar kom na The Miracle Place. Ons skep vir jou hier 'n omgewing vir Jesus Christus. En dan kan jy hom aanneem. En uit Miracle Place uit, The Miracle Place, vat ons die mense en ons oreed hulle of hulle dan nie wil vir sendelinge gaan nie, en 'n bietjie 'n stappie verder gaan nie. Wat The Miracle Place ook bied is partykeer net 'n fire miracle event. Dis sommer net vir 2 dae. Wat jy kan kom en as jy wil vuur van God hê, dan kom kry jy sy vuur. Natuurlik kan jy net vuur kry en dan gemaak jy hom weer dood en kom kry vuur. Jy moet dit blywend hou met die woord van God. Maar jy kan hiernatoe ook mense bring wat kanker het. Hulle kom boekie in nie, maar hulle kry daai miracle en fire events. So hou dit dop op The Miracle Place se Facebook. En as iemand siek is, kom daai 2 dae en kom dat die persoon gesond raak. Julle is so welkom. Volg ons, die Here seën.
So when I was back in the location, we had a spot where we used to chill. We called that spot Cabo SK. It's my other homie's place. So this guy, they gave him a house. He doesn't have furniture in the house. There's nothing in the house. It's just a house. It's plain. There's no parents, nothing. So all the gangs live inside the house. So we live inside that house. We learn the language, the Raftri language. This is Raftri because the gang is called the Raftri. So we learn the language, the Raftri language, and then that's where we plan our things. We're gonna go out at night. They're gonna rob people at night, and then who's gonna watch out for the house? Who's gonna bring in the drugs? Who's gonna take care of the money? And who's gonna buy the food? And then we had girls. The girls, they are called not London. They're called Matentri. The girls are called the Tentri. So the girls also work. They also stay with us, but they don't stay full time with us. They have to go back to their houses. Only the men stay in the house. So the girls will just go out, seduce men, and then take money from the men, and they will come back to us with the money. So we were basically using each other. So that's where we smoked drugs, we bought drugs and we smoked there. That's where all the fights happened there, every time there. And then if another gang will come, wants to get me, they will know where to get us. They'll come to the house. So sometimes the community will try to burn the house, will run away, and then the community sometimes the community will find us inside the house. They'll beat us up. After beating us up, they will chase us away from the house, but we will mainly come back to the house. After coming back to the house, maybe when they beat us up, they'll chase us away from the house, and we'll go to Benoni, because we live in Davidson, but Benoni is not far away. We'd go to Benoni and then stay for like 2 weeks in Benoni. After 2 weeks, we'd go back to the house. But one by one, we just sneak into the house. So, and then the house was okay before. They had furniture and everything, but we took everything out, we sold everything. We even took out the copper pipes from the house, the electricity, took out the taps. The house doesn't have taps, doesn't have anything. It's just a wrecked out house. Even the fence doesn't even have fence. And then the boy stays there. It's his family house. And then, though he stays there and it's his family house, he's a young boy. So there are elders in the number. So the elders will tell him not to tell the police. The elders would beat him up, not to tell the community about the house. Like the elders of the number will tell him they will kill him if he goes to the community and tells the community maybe to chase us out. So he had nothing. He didn't do it. He had no power to chase anybody out. only the number people will chase someone. So only the number elders will chase another person out. So he's also part of the gang. So the gang will tie him up just like that. They will use the number to tie him up.
Speer International en Speer SA. Speer SA is Speer Suid-Afrika. Nou wat ons doen is ons stuur sendelinge uit. Na hulle klaar gestudeer het by School of Fire, kan hulle gaan na verskillende wêrelddele en plekke. Ons het ook sendelinge daar buite. U kan ook bydra by dit. So Speer International stuur sendelinge uit. Maar wanneer ons in School of Fire studeer en die ou bring sy kant en hy munt uit, dan raak hy 'n speer, soos ons dit noem. En dan is hy Speer SA. En dan bekwam hy vir 'n sendeling, 'n pastoor, 'n evangelis, 'n beraader, maak nie saak nie, in werk vir die Here. Maar mense daar buite het partykeer ondervindinge jare al vir Jesus. Hulle het nie 3 jaar gestudeer nie, maar hulle wil ook graag sendelinge raak, maar hulle kan nie vir 3 jaar kom nie. Dan bel jy ons het 'n onderhoud met jou en jy kan round off kursus kom doen hier by Speer International. En dan kan ons jou ook uitstuur. Maar dit kan jy nie deur 'n e-posadres hanteer nie. Jy bel ons, daar is 2 nommers op die skerm. Dit is myne en Andre Strauss se nommer. Bel ons en ons praat met jou. God seën.
And sometimes when maybe you have a friend and your friend has money, you'll bring your friend to the house. You tell them to let's just go to your house. I know a spot where you can smoke. Maybe your friend smokes and your friend doesn't live in the house. You'll bring him to the house, and then after bringing them into the house, he'll meet these people, and you act like you don't know these people. And then these people will take everything from your friend. They'll take your friend's money. They'll take your friend's drugs. They'll take even his clothes, and then just chase him away. And then they'll share these things with you. And you just lost a friend for a number. So it's about the rule of that number, just growing the number. They don't care about your name. They give you a new name when you get there. They don't care about your name. They don't care where you live. They don't care about your family. If you tell them that you have a family, they will ask you, where's your family? Where's your house? And you show them your house. Then they will try to convince you to make a plan to go into the house and steal from your house. So you didn't have to tell them anything. You had to be really careful if you told them something. All right. So I didn't know. Okay, I always wondered what is so special about me? Why me? Why do I get protection, or am I protected by somebody? So, for instance, there was once a case where when I went back to the house where we live in, they hired some guy from another town. This guy just came to me. He's an older guy, so he just came to me. He told me he wanted to buy me some beers. And then we went out, he bought some beers, we drank. But I didn't get drunk because I don't drink that much. But he got really drunk. And then around maybe 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, he said, let's go back to the house. There was a way in which it was easier to go back to the house, but he said you must just take the long way around. I didn't have a problem because we live in the house anyway together. So we took the long way around. After taking the long way around, the guy just stood behind me, said he wanted to pee, and I just kept on walking slowly. As I was talking while walking, he came behind me and strangled me. He strangled me, and then I thought I held his hand, and I thought maybe I could get out of his grip. But I saw this guy is too strong because he's older than me. This guy is very strong, and I was high on drugs, and I was skinny, and this guy was still well built. And I just dozed off. After dozing off, I don't know how long did I doze off, but it was maybe mere seconds because I felt my face hitting the ground, and then I stood up again. When I stood up again, the guy just looked at me in the eyes and he said, oh, he was surprised, and I ran away. I was bleeding. There was blood coming out of my mouth, blood coming out of my nose, and I went to the house. When I went to the house, everybody was surprised to see me in the house. Even one girl said, how? Themba, you're Pila. That means, Themba, you are alive. Wow. Because somehow I think there was a bet that this guy is going to kill me. but it didn't happen. And another case, there was this time we were smoking in the house. We were smoking drugs. I smoked so much, I was smoking crystal meth. I smoked too much crystal meth. Somehow, I think I lost my mind or something. Because I smoked and I wanted to go to sleep. When I went to my bed, I went to where I sleep, and then I slept. After sleeping, when I woke up in the street. How? I don't know how that happened. But when I sit down and start to think about it, I have clips in my mind where I'm standing in the street and cars are coming and I'm busy opening doors and I'm screaming at the drivers, and the drivers are kicking me out of the cars, and sometimes I go into the car, they'll slap me. Because when I woke up in the street, I asked, how many days have I been in the street? Because I woke up around 3 o'clock at night in the street. Afternoon in the street, it's at 3 o'clock at night. And I asked some of the people, like, how long have I been this? Like, dude, you were out of your mind for like 3 days. I was dirty, I was bleeding, my face was painful, my hands were painful. Everything was painful. So that's when I started going back home. I started going back to my friend's place, and then they took care of me. And then when they brought me to School of Fire, I came here, I was still confused. I was still out of my mind. Didn't know what was happening to me. So when I started going deep, in learning about God, learning about Christ. That's when I started knowing that this entire time, it was not me acting. This entire time, there was no Rosies, there was no ancestors, there was nothing. There was not a person protecting me. This entire time, God was sitting beside me. He was protecting me. Jesus was sitting with me. He was protecting me. So when this guy was trying to kill me, Jesus woke me up and gave me the strength to flee away from this guy. When these things were happening for the last 3 days when I lost my mind, Jesus was walking with me this entire time. As I was sleeping in the streets and my family cast me out of my house, Jesus was still with me. And when I got here, I started getting better. I haven't been smoking, started not smoking drugs, started praying more. And I felt the power of prayer working. I know prayer works. And I started reading, going into the Word, and I read the Word more. And my whole family started calling me. Because now I have a phone. My whole family, the people who cast me out my heart, my grandmother's house, started calling me. Started asking me if I'm okay, asking me where am I. They want to see me, they want to speak to me. Where else, when I was still back in the location, I would go to them and speak to them and tell them, I apologize for whatever I did. I just want to come back home. They would say no. I need to learn a lesson I don't even know about. But one day, there was this day when I went out of my grandma's house. I told my cousin that, you know what? God has my back. I know. But I didn't believe in that. But now I believe in that. I know, not that I feel it, I can see God's power working in me. Because when I came here, I had nothing. But now I feel I have everything.
Prys die Here, ek wil jou uitnooi na School of Fire toe. Nou wat gebeur by School of Fire? Jy kan menigte dinge hier doen. Jy kan vir 'n pastoor kom leer vir 3 jaar lank, of jy kan vir 'n beraader kom leer. Jy kan vir 'n evangelis. Jy kan jou bekwam om vir God te werk. Jy kan ook 'n gap jaar vat. Maar nou het ons ook gap seisoene. Dat jy net vir 3 maande kom en net 'n grondslag in jou lewe kry, 'n fondasie kan kom bou by School of Fire. Die nommer is nou op die skerm. Al wat jy moet doen, jy moet net jou e-posadres sound toe WhatsApp en ons stuur vir jou inligting. Jy kan ook na die inligting vir ons bel en 'n bietjie gesels en ons kan hierdie ding uitmekaar uitsit. Daar's ook 'n volunteerafdeling wat jy op die plaas by die krokodille kan kom werk. Hier's ook ander afdelings. Daar is kamerawerk, daar's klankwerk. Ag, daar is baie om op te noem. Daar's leerwerk, daar is materiaalwerk om rokke te maak. Jy kan hare doen, jy kan naels doen. Baie verskeidenheid goed wat ook baie prakties is. Skakel ons en ons kan met jou gesels by School of Fire en ons het 'n baie mooi track record. Jy kan ons ook volg op ons page van School of Fire. Nou ja, die nommer is op die skerm. Stuur nou jou e-posadres met 'n WhatsApp en kom join School of Fire.
To everybody out there, I just want to tell them that there's no power greater than God. There's no manpower greater than God. There's no number greater than God. Nobody nobody can hold you back. Not even a number can hold you back. Not even gangs can hold you back. There's no power greater than God. No human can hold you away. No human can hold you away from the power of God. You just need to go into it, go deep in it, and then just believe in God. That's the only thing that you need to do. And just try to take as much people as you can. Because if you believe in God and you're in a group, it's much more powerful than believing in a number, or believing in some gangsterism, or believing in drugs, or believing in that. Those things won't work for you. Things of the world won't work for you. You have to grow yourself spiritually. If you grow spiritually, that's when you can gain more. Because everything that you have today and everything that you work for in this earth, you're gonna leave in this earth. But if you work on yourself spiritually, when you leave this earth, you have something. You've built something. You're gonna get something out there. So that's what I can say. Drugs are bad. Drugs are really bad. You don't have to do drugs. That's why I stay away from drugs. They're not gonna solve your problems. If you got problems, man, just do not even go to a psychiatrist. Go to church, pray. Pray about it. Really pray about it. Speak to your pastor. Now speak to your family. And if you go into a inyanga, you're seeing a inyanga or seeing a psychiatrist, leave that. They're not gonna work. They're only gonna tell you to take medicine. They're only gonna tell you to do sacrifices. It's not gonna work. Only Jesus can save you from all sins. Only Jesus can save you from your madness, from who you are. And just pray. Pray, because Jesus is the only spirit that can forgive sins. It's the only Lord that can forgive sins. And we are sinners. We are born sinners. The sooner you realize that you're a sinner, it's the sooner you're gonna get better. I say pray. Believe in prayer, bro. That's what I can tell you.